Hello and welcome to this special weekly show called Diaspora Diamonds, which is our salute to over 32 million strong Indian diaspora present in over 200 countries worldwide. I'm Gautam Roy. The show launched the same day, same time earlier this year, around the time the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Samman convention was held in Madhya Pradesh's Indore city. PBD is a platform for the overseas Indian community to engage with the government and people of India and share their experiences and insights. It also helps strengthen ties between India and the global Indian diaspora and to recognize the achievements and contributions of Indians living abroad. The Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards are an integral part of the biennial event and are conferred by the President of India upon members of the Indian diaspora who made exceptional contribution in their chosen fields and have acted as India's ambassadors in foreign lands. Our guest this week is one such awardee, Dr. Rajagopal, recipient Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award and distinguished professor, Egade Business School, Mexico. Good morning to you and welcome to Diaspora Diamonds, Dr. Rajagopal, since you're joining us from Boston, where you're visiting professor these days. And first of all, congratulations for the award. What were your first thoughts when you heard that you're getting the highest honor that the Indian government can give to an Indian living abroad, which in your case is Mexico?
Thank you for inviting me for this forum. And it has been a big surprise to me when I heard from the ambassador of India in Mexico on December 28, if I rightly remember, that I have been selected for this award, because I never expected. I have been working all through my life in various aspects of rural development and marketing and farmers education. So the thing is that I found that, you see, well, this is a big return on my life invested, and that gave me a big self-actualization, and it's also a motivation for me to get further engaged in various activities in social development and rural development, and also in the economic development of the country as such. And beyond everything, it's also a big social esteem to have this recognition from Government of India, which has ultimately which has the ultimate and which has recognized my contributions.
I'm sure you deserve it well. But what can you tell us about your journey from India to Mexico? Your move took place at the start of the third millennium, when you were already well established as an academician in India with expertise in a range of topics from rural marketing, marketing management and cooperatives, and even Hindi.
Yes, so the journey was quite interesting because earlier I never planned to move out of India, and you see, I have been well settled and I have been working at that time at Administrative Staff College of India as senior faculty. So I thought that, you see, well, there's a very good platform for me to continue in India itself, but one fine day I received an invitation from Tecnologico de Monterey, which is one of the largest private universities in Mexico.
Okay.
So the fundamental concern for me was the family, fraternity, and my future, saying, they'll say, how really I can manage these three. So that I consider as, if I acronym that, and then you see it becomes as a 3F, which is my family, fraternity, and future. So in this process, I consider my wife as one of the kingpins to really make the decision and move the entire perspective from India to Mexico, who has really gave me a big confidence, saying that, you see, well, the family, my children can really pick up the different languages, a non-English speaking country, and you see where Spanish is the official language. So my children, they learned Spanish. My wife, she learned Spanish. And then we moved ahead with our point of shifting from India to Mexico. And my focus in entire journey, and my focus also was after getting on to Mexico, was about inducing the concepts what I developed, what I learned in India, and their applications with focus on research and transformation. So if you join all these touch points, you will find that you say it as CART, CART, that is the concept, application, research, and transformation, which really gave me a big challenge to create a kind of systems thinking in Mexico, particularly in educational field, in research field, and in the application oriented field, where we have to go to the entrepreneurs and give them solutions what I learned in India.
Right. Now, you've been given the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award for your contributions in the field of education. Tell us more about your activities in the field of education in Mexico and elsewhere.
Well, I have been engaged largely in research and in education, and my major focus was that how really I can impart the skills and knowledge to the working managers, particularly here. Most of the people who do their MBA, they are all working managers. So building managers is one of the big challenge, and building managers with new concepts. And you see, you are trying to have a fusion of East with the West. So that was one of my concerns here. And with that, I tried to build the convergence between the Indian concepts, particularly in development, in management, and in social and cultural development with the Mexican environment.
Okay. And your citation for the Samman also says that you've made seminal contributions in the fields of rural development, farming communities, and women entrepreneurship in India. Now, how does your work apply to these sectors?
Well, my basic contributions in India were towards the farming communities, particularly to educate the farmers in new practices of the farming, and non-entrepreneur and non-farm sector, particularly when we talk about then it's all about the handicrafts, handlooms, and where the focus of my research and focus of my contributions in developing new business models were towards the women entrepreneurship. And I have worked also with, to some extent, particularly in research fields, with SEWA, that is Self-Employed Women's Association, and I have also worked with the Institute of Rural Management, where I had an opportunity to see how really the non-farm workers, particularly the women, they work in various non-farm activities. There was one institution called Tribhuvan Das Foundation, where I found that this is somewhat incredible if really we are going to improve upon the non-farm sector development and also the farm sector development over a period of time.
All right. The citation also says that you've infused business orientation among farm and non-farm entrepreneurs. That's what you mentioned as well, from 1984 to 2001 through social laboratories. Now, tell us a little bit more about this initiative and how it helped farm and non-farm entrepreneurs.
Yeah, the social laboratories were largely a part of the research methodology. But in fact, they also help the farmers. They help the non-farm activity participants, particularly the women and other members of the society. So what we used to do in social laboratories is that we used to organize the participatory rural appraisal to know from them that what really they feel about the current situation and what they want. So this is an established practice, and this was the participatory rural appraisal was the conceptually it has been derived at IDS Sussex. IDS is Institute of Development Studies in University of Sussex by the Robert Chambers. Over a period of time when he came to India, and he was working with National Institute of Rural Development for some time as a resource person. At that time, we picked up this practice, and you see, we try to implement that to know the PNS factors. And what is this PNS factors is problems, needs, and solutions. Okay. So first of all, we have to know what exactly is their problem, what are their needs, and what is their expected solutions. So based on that, I used to develop the models, the business models, and I used to discuss these models in different administrative forums, because I was also a trainer when I was with Administrative Staff College of India, and also with the National Institute of Rural Development and National Institute of Agricultural Marketing, where the major focus was on socio-economic upliftment and quality of life improvement, and to provide the leadership skills. So this, if you just abbreviate this, it becomes as a SQL, and SQL is one of the very important milestones for my research, at least, which I made it for myself, and that was the focus of my social laboratories.
All right. Now, let's widen the scope of our chat now and talk about India and Mexico as well. Well, they have had trade, investment, and cultural linkages and exchanges for many decades now. They're both emerging economies and share democratic, pluralistic, and other values. Now, how is the Indian community in Mexico helping to build upon these commonalities and links?
Indian diaspora and Indian companies in Mexico is now at an increase. So when I came to Mexico in 2001, at that time it was very hard to find a large diaspora, and it was very hard to find some industries from India which are really making a dent in the Mexican economy. But today, there are many Indian companies in manufacturing, and they are in pharmaceuticals, they are in tires, they are in food industry, different segments they have already gotten, and they have developed quite a good a contribution for the Mexican economy. And in addition, the information technology and educational services, because we do have a lot of agreements, memorandum of understanding agreements being signed between the higher educational institutions of India, like Indian Institute of Management Bangalore, Indian Institute of Management Indore, and Institute of Public Enterprise Hyderabad. So, and also the very recently we have been working with, that was the International Management Institute, which is at Bhubaneswar and Delhi and Calcutta. They do have their three campuses. So what exactly happened over a period of time is a cultural mix in business, cultural mix in industry has grown up. And this has been further motivated, has boosted by India-Mexico Business Council. Right. So this is very instrumental for converging the Mexican business with the Indian industrial system.
Okay. And how is this contribution of the Indian community in Mexico viewed by the Mexicans themselves, the majority of the country?
So the contribution of Indian diaspora is, in fact, highly commendable. And if you look at that, what really we have been doing, and you see what we have done so far is we we really uh, we really make the Mexican counterparts to learn about the concepts that we have used and we have succeeded in that. So that makes a greater contribution of us. And I find that you see the Mexican contributors, the Mexican counterparts, they also are equally interested in learning. So this continuous learning, this bridges the distance between the Indian culture, Indian industrial system, Indian education system, and overall the Indian diaspora with the Mexican communities.
Uh-huh. And how's our country, that is India, viewed by those in Mexico? It's the fifth largest economy in the world now, also a worldwide digital showcase as well. Is it seen as a rising global star, which is also the voice of the global South, as it is trying to be while hosting the G20 summit this year, where Mexico is also a member?
Yeah, certainly. In this particular perspective, I would like to say that you see the Mexican people, Mexican citizens, Mexican leaders, political leaders, social leaders, they view India from a very different perspective. And what is that perspective? That perspective is, one, as a knowledge hub, second is a leadership hub, and third is a technology hub. So the most attractive part for all the Mexican counterparts are about the precision, what we take in our decision, and the confidence in the leadership. The higher economic growth, they particularly which is exhibited in our GDP and our foreign reserves and international relations, and take an example of about United Nations and Security Councils, we do have our representation. And G20 leadership, it does create a very big contribution and very big milestone, not only for us but also for the counterparts in Mexico, who really view that how powerful our entire strategy is, our diplomacy is, our business culture is, and how really we are trying to move forward towards Industry 4.0, then Education 4.0, and with not only with these advancements of industry and education in reference to technology, but also how really we are moving fast in space, and
Definitely.
how we are really managing the sustainability. One of the very high credibility that goes to us in their views, in the views of the Mexican counterparts, is that the population, the objectives what we have, and the achievements what really we get. So that is highly amazing, and it really creates it has created a big respect about our country, rather than just saying that India is a big emerging market.
Okay. Now, with all this in mind, and you mentioned the Business Council as well, but tell us about what other kind of activities is the Indian community in Mexico taking up to shape the perception about India as a rapidly developing multicultural society, which can be an effective partner in multiple fields for Mexico's own progress and development. Your work in promoting Hindi does come to mind in building a better understanding of India.
Well, in this perspective, I would like to say that you see, this is one step that you see we have moved to integrate the Indian industry with Mexican industry, and that is being taken care of by India-Mexico Business Council. On the other hand, with the initiative of Ambassador of India to Mexico, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, we have developed and we have launched already. That concept was developed in over a period of time. We are working on that, and we launched the India-Mexico Research Consortium to bring the people, particularly the research people from India and research people from Mexico on one forum, so that they can exchange ideas, they can exchange results, and you see, they can implement some of the outcomes in Mexico, as well as the Mexican research can also be taken to the field in India. Apart from that, we do have a lot of lab to land practices, particularly here. There are many organizations which are moving very close to the Mexican community. Like, take an example of UPL. It is one of the strong industrial segment, and that is the industrial chemicals and agrochemicals. They work on that, and this particular company is trying to work on the sustainability. In Mexican environment, in Mexican ecosystem. That is an Indian company, and they have a great contribution there. Apart from that, the information technology, then the cultural fusion. The cultural fusion has been done by, there is a cultural center which is known as the Gurudev Tagore Cultural Center, which is under the aegis of the Embassy of India. And they also offer the various the cultural trainings, and take an example in dance, take an example in singing, and
I'm sure there'll be yoga as well.
Yeah, and particularly the music, taken like tabla and very other instruments. Apart from that, they also conduct the Hindi classes. Wow. So once the Mexicans are also, citizens are interested in taking these activities which belong to India and adapt to that. Mm-hmm. So here, there are three factors which really work, and that is creating awareness, providing them the attributes of our culture, and then raising adaptability, that you see how really they can adapt to adapt to Indian culture. And I have seen that the Mexicans performing in all our national events, particularly in on Republic Day, on Independence Day, in the embassy grounds. They come and you see they perform, and they were all trained by the Cultural Center of Mexico, Cultural Center of India for the Mexican people. And apart from that, very recently, in association with again Indian Embassy, and I have pushed a little bit of efforts on popularizing Hindi, and even to our Indian diaspora, we thought that, you see, let everyone express themselves in Hindi. And for that, we are planning, and the newsletter by name Pallav. Pallav is the spring leaves, and that will be most likely to come on the 15th August of this year.
Okay, wonderful. Now, before we let you go, tell us about the experience of attending the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention in Indore as well. I'm sure you must have been coming to India every now and then, perhaps even after having received the award. Now, what are the impressions that you've taken back from your latest visit about the country's progress and development?
That was excellent, and that was my first lifetime experience to have such a big forum, and all dignitaries were there to meet them, and then to look for that, to see how big and how intense is our commitments towards developing the personalities who have really contributed in overseas forums about the education, medicine, and various other fields. So this particular event is so well organized, and it brought us to the beginning. So though we are all at the very late stage of our life, but the thing is that
I'm sure there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, so this has just brought us to the beginning, and you see, this is highly energizing, and also we found that, you see, that gives us a big motivation to prepare the new generation and reinforce symbiosis between we the citizens of India and the country. This is indeed an eternal relationship, what I feel that with the Indian citizens who stay abroad and the country will love.
Yes, and finally, what do you think this honor that you and a select few others have earned this year, the highest that the Indian government can give to Indians living abroad, overseas, would mean to the larger Indian diaspora as well?
Yeah, for everyone, I suppose, because after the event also we have discussed with many people that who have received the award, not only in 2023 but also in 2021. So we found that everyone is so enthusiastic, they are thrilled, and you see, they are full with the energy to indeed provide the better services abroad to the Indian diaspora. And at the same time, the Indian diaspora is also very receptive to the new initiatives conducted by individuals as well as by the organizations like embassies in different places.
Wonderful. Well, great speaking to you, Dr. Rajagopal, and once again, congratulations for the award, and keep serving the community that you are, of course, in your adopted country as well, and keep the Indian flag flying high. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of Diaspora Diamonds. For all the latest, keep watching DD India.